All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Talk. I really appreciate everyone showing up. And this morning, to get us started, we have Lisa Wright from Rejuvenate Sauce. Let me start this all over again. From Rejuvenate Spa and Salon. Lisa, come on up.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Lisa Wright, and I'm the district manager over the hair salon.
It's a microphone.
Okay, better. I'm the district manager for Rejuvenate Salon and Spa, and we've been in business since 1996, and all of our salons are in senior living communities all around the state of Florida, and we're in 5 other states. Here at Regency, we have 2 stylists, Kathleen that works Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and Linda that works Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then we have our nail tech, Marilyn, that works on Thursday and Fridays. So we're so thankful for our staff here, and I know everybody enjoys working in the salon, and I know we got some new things coming up with the new massage spa, which is really exciting for everyone. And we're working on that with Brant and the owner of Rejuvenate, Abby Germain. And they're working together to get all that taken care of. And we're going to be working on the new lighting above the salons. Yay. So Brant and Abby are working on that together, so that will be resolved. And also, we have a new pedicure chair coming too. Yay! So, Brand and Abby are working on that too. So we provide all hair services and nail services in the salon. Cuts, perms, colors, everything. And then nail services, acrylics, gels, manicures, and pedicures. So anybody have any questions they want to ask me?
Lisa,
yes?
why don't you tell the folks about the services we have for men?
For men?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have men's haircuts. They also can get manicures and pedicures in the salon. And of course, when the massage spa opens, we'll be providing massages for women and men. And we're going to have acupuncture, and we're also going to have facials. So this is really exciting for all of us. We're really excited to be on board here with Regency Oaks. And, anyways, anybody have anything else?
Just brief, what's the price for pedicure?
I think the price is, it's all my places are different. I think it's $35.
I think that's right.
Yes, $35 for a pedicure. Yeah.
Does that include a 5-minute massage?
It includes a massage, and I think it's longer than 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
You got me interested now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're great. I know some men don't like doing that, but honestly, if you try it, you'll be hooked, and you'll want to keep coming back.
Do you have an anesthetician?
Not yet. We will be hiring one for the new massage spa and a massage therapist too. I have a massage therapist already lined up. She works for us already at another community. So, and then we'll work on getting an esthetician to come in and an acupuncturist. So, anything else? Any concerns anybody has except for the lighting above the salons? That it? Okay, I'll give it back to Brant.
Thank you.
Lisa, appreciate the update. And now we're ready to move directly into the COVID presentation, so we're going to step over to the board. All right, let's take a look at the COVID situation. Today's April the 20th.
Is your mic on?
It's not on. Oh, okay. So let's start by taking a look at what's happening with mask mandates. There are currently 12 states, including territories, that have mandated mask wearing at the state level, and they have, you can see that Florida is one of the states that has lifted their mask requirement for wearing a mask. And so those states that have lifted it are Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Arizona, and Wyoming. There are some states where they have left it up to local authorities to make that determination, and those are the light green states. And then the dark green states are those states where we still have state mandated mask wearing throughout the state. Next slide.
Excuse me, Grant,
Yeah.
there were way more than 12 dark green states up there.
There were 21,
Oh, did I say dark green? Thank you for
you
correcting
said
me.
12,
12, okay.
And there were way more than 12.
Yeah, there are 12 that have no mask mandates or restricted mask mandates. So thank you for correcting me. So let's talk about mask wearing, and we're going to look at the numbers here in Florida, give you a better visualization of what's happening. But here in Florida, this is what we're looking at in terms of mask wearing. If you visit inside a home or a private setting, you can do it without a mask. If everyone is fully vaccinated and they are people of any age. You can visit inside a home or private setting without a mask if it's one household of unvaccinated people who are not at risk for severe illness. And so that's unvaccinated people. So if it's vaccinated, doesn't matter what age or risk factor. If they're unvaccinated, you should limit it to one household and they should not be at risk. There are travel restrictions that have been restricted if you have been vaccinated. What you shouldn't do, according to the CDC, and that's the source of this data, is visit indoors without a mask with people at increased risk. So if you were to go over to the skilled nursing or the assisted living, we still require mask wearing in our assisted living and skilled nursing. You should not attend medium or large gatherings, and the definition of the CDC definition of medium or large gatherings is a little different than ours. We talk about our large gatherings being more than 50 people. The CDC is thinking more like a stadium, and so there are not those kind of restrictions in place. So when you think about the CDC guidelines, think about a restaurant. If a restaurant seats 150, 200 people, the CDC has completely lifted the mask restrictions here in Florida for medium or large gatherings as we define them at Regency Oaks. And so you just have to remember that it's the perspective that sort of changes based upon what they're talking about. So a medium gathering might be a high school basketball game where you would have 400 people in attendance. A large gathering would be a soccer game where you might have 7,000 or 8,000 people in attendance. So there is a difference of perspective there. Next slide. Here's a slide I thought was sort of interesting. It's the universal mask wearing, and this is taken across the entire United States. We had, if you look at this top line all the way there at the top, the universal mask target rate that was set way back in April of last year was we were going to try to achieve 95% of the population wearing a mask. You can see we never even came close. We got 60% is where it starts back in August of 20. I wasn't able to get the whole year on here. As we had the spike in early January, we saw a little bit of an increase, but it only got up to about 64% of the populace willing to wear a mask. And you can see that they are anticipating that it is going to decline as America begins to reopen, as people get vaccinated, as we gain herd immunity. And so if you look at the projections, the number of people wearing a mask is going to be fewer and fewer as we begin to reopen our communities and our nation. Next slide. Here's something else that I thought was really interesting. And so This is who has been vaccinated on a global scale. And sort of we looked last week at what's happening in the United States and where the outbreaks are and who's vaccinated in the U.S. But here's the global picture. And if you look at the United States and Alaska, we are far and above the most vaccinated country in the world. There are some other countries that are building up on this, and that includes Canada and Brazil, India, Russia. Right behind them are Spain, England, the Netherlands. So there are some countries that are doing really well. I thought it was interesting, if you look at China, the source of the virus, either they don't report their data, which is what many scientists suspect, or they haven't been very successful in using vaccination as a means of controlling. Now, there are other means of controlling the virus other than vaccination, but they are not reporting data on their level of vaccinations. If you look at most of Africa, that's where we're seeing the largest outbreak right now. They're not, that's not a reporting issue. There's just no vaccine that's getting into Africa. And there was an interesting story, and I forget whether it was in the Wall Street Journal, but one of the newspapers this week, where they were going deep into the continent to deliver vials of vaccine, and they were crossing a bridge over a ravine that looked very, very deep, and the bridge was one of those old sway bridge. Did anyone see that? It was just two lone guys with on their back. They had doses of vaccine that they were going deep into the continent to try to deliver. Next slide.
I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Here in Florida, again, the numbers look really good. Total cases a little over 2 million. Resident hospitalizations were at 88,000. That's since February 18th of last year. You can see the fatalities over there in the white chart on the bottom right-hand side. That continues to look very promising. Don, let's go to the next slide, which is testing. You see I can plugged in Pinellas County, our positivity rate. Yesterday they tested 2,281, and every single one of them was negative or was positive. And so that's a data error, and we've called and gotten clarification on that. The actual positivity rate here in Pinellas County yesterday was 6.24%. So we're very close to our benchmark. And if you follow the red line across the bottom here, you can see on a 7-day cycle exactly where we are. And we've been hovering just above 5% since the beginning of March. So we've got 45 days with pretty consistent readings. Here's the case map that I think shows this the best. And if you go all the way over to cases by zip code, all right, so here's the thing I think that is most impressive in looking at this map. How many of you remember looking at this even a month and a half ago, and all the red and all the dark umber that was in there is almost completely gone. So when you think about what's happening in the state of Florida in terms of being able to reach herd immunity, we're pretty much there. We see that Miami, Dade, and Broward County down on the East Coast continue to be the area where this whole thing started in Florida. It's probably going to be where it finishes in Florida. And so, but the rest of the state, you just don't see any red. And so that's just so encouraging as we think about where we are. The next slide is the health metrics slide. It's a slide we look at every week. So ED visits with flu-like symptoms spiked over the course of the last 3 weeks, just continuing to decline. That makes in perfect sense. We're right in the middle of flu season. You're going to see an increase in the number of people presenting at hospital with flu-like symptoms. The ED visits with COVID-like symptoms we saw that spike started earlier in the month. It's now on a downward trend. The numbers look good. Documented new cases had continued to increase over that 4-week period. It declined this past week. So again, the numbers here in Pinellas County just really look outstanding, and I think that's also true for the state. Okay, so I also wanted to just take one look at what's happening here at Regency Oaks and where we are with our numbers. And in terms of quarantine, we currently have, you know that we had 4 exposures a little more than 10 days ago. They were all staff exposures. The 3 of the 4 did not occur on campus. They were still staff members, but the exposure was limited to individuals not at Regency Oaks. The one true exposure that we had was not a resident exposure, it was a staff-only exposure. So of those 4 exposures that we had a little more than 10 days ago, there's only 1 that will be clearing quarantine tomorrow. And so if we take those individuals out of the equation, there's nobody else on campus, either a resident or a staff, that is currently under quarantine, or for that matter, experiencing flu-like symptoms or COVID-like symptoms in the IL, the assisted living, or skilled nursing. So our numbers here at Regency Oaks look really, really good as well. And so as we start to think about, okay, well, what are you trying to tell us? Where are you going? What's this process? What I'm trying to share with you is that the numbers at Regency Oaks are so good because of a couple of things. 1, we have 97% of our residents vaccinated. 2, we have reached herd immunity. We have enough, the CDC says you need about 75% of your population to be vaccinated in order to have herd immunity, and we have achieved that. If you take a look at our total numbers, both in terms of staff and residents, we're above the 75% mark. And so with the fact that we're vaccinated, the majority of us are vaccinated, and we have herd immunity, we are going to be reopening the communities. Now, I cannot tell you whether that's going to happen next week or the week after, but we are very close to being able to request and receive approval to remove all restrictions across the independent living. It will, we're very close. It's going to be followed within another 2 weeks to 4 weeks by the assisted living and the skilled nursing, because all the trend lines, everything that's going down is going down, everything that should be going up is going up. And so all the trend lines are showing that we're ready to take the next steps. We have been prohibited from doing that for the past 4 weeks because the positivity rate, not at Regency Oaks, but in Pinellas County, was too high. Now that we've seen that 3 weeks where we've been hovering right at about 6% positivity, that's going to allow us to take the next steps. You recall that the target rate is 5%. But given the fact that we've not had any recent exposures to residents, that's going to allow us to take those next steps. So I'm not ready to announce it this week, but by next week I expect to have an announcement on the reopening of the IL. Okay, so I think that's it for COVID, and we're going to go back to the podium. All right, so I think the thing that we're going to do next is we're going to take a look at some of the construction issues. Last week I committed to come back and talk a little bit about the office area. That's the one area that was left. But before we go that, I want to take a second to highlight, and I'm going to show you a video about the React Trainer. It's one of the new technology features that the fitness center is going to offer. Zelco is really excited about bringing this level of training to the community. And the cool thing about this piece of equipment is it's interactive. And so it's not only helping with your reaction times and your mobility, it's also going to help with cognition. It's a great tool, and I'd like to show that video. Okay, might be a little slower for us. But this, in terms of being able to do something that's going to, stretch and build cognition and reaction times, this is state of the art, and it's the feedback we're getting. We will not be the first senior community to actually implement this, but I think it is going to be something that once you experience it and get over it's a little fear of trying it for the first time, you're going to like it. It's going to be a great tool. All right, so now, Don, let's get out of here completely, look at the office area, and we're going to start up in that upper left-hand corner, and that's a little seating lounge area. The main entrance to the office suites is going to be right here. It's not this door right here, it's that upper area. And so there is a waiting area, sitting area right outside the entry to the suite. The first office on the right is the new wellness nurse who has started, by the way. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to meet her, but she has started. We'll try to get her introduced to you next week at Tuesday Talk. And then immediately below her in office number 113 is Leslie. That's the Director of Resident Services. And then across from Leslie in 112 is the clinic or the consultation room. And so that's where the podiatrist or Bob Evans or the mobile dentist, that's where all the clinic activities will be held. There's below them, there is the IHS office. That's our home health Part B, personalized living, you may know it as. Christine has a private office, and then there is a bullpen immediately adjacent to her office, and you can see we've got the capability to put 4 people in there. There are 4 desks, so a fairly good sized room. Across the way is a conference room, and this is going to have audio-visual capabilities, so we'll have a TV and a projector so that you can use that as a small conference room. Right below the conference room is the Director of Therapy, that's Dave Little, and below Dave is the Director of Programs, that's Tiffany. Tiffany selected her office because she had a window and thought it was the best view. And then right below, the last 2 offices on the bottom are the HR offices, and one is for Sandra and the other is for our HR generalist. Our recruiter is going to stay in the office space that we created in the north building that is in non-residential space, so she will not be relocating. So that's a look at what those office areas are going to look like.
If you don't come in at the bottom, how do you get into the sitting area?
Yeah, through the top. So you'd have to go through the town hall in order to get into the sitting area.
And where would that be up there?
So, Don, if you drop this sizing down to 50%, we can show the rest of the slide. So now we're going to have to, do me a favor and just lift this bar, this gray bar. That should, yeah, right.
To the lobby, and then back down around. Right. My God.
All right. To update you on this Saturday, on the 23rd of April, we are offering another COVID clinic. It will be another two-part series, so it's not going to be a three-part series, meaning the first offering is to get your COVID shot. The second offering will be the second shot, the booster shot, but you will not have a third opportunity. So if you miss it on the 23rd, you will not be able to participate in the follow-up clinic. It's
Friday.
a two-part clinic. It's this Friday. Hold on. It's open this Friday. It's open to any resident who has not yet had the vaccine and would like to, now that the rest of us have had it and seem to have survived it, if you'd like to give it a shot, this would be an opportunity to do it. It's going to be open to any of our staff, any of our volunteers, any of our friends and family. And so it's pretty wide availability, but we need to know whether you have an interest or need to get a family member through. And there are some restrictions, but if you are interested, you need to talk to Leslie and get your name on the list. And depending upon how many we have, we will figure out how we need to do the consent forms and the sign-up sheets. But right now, we just need a count, and we need to get that count before the close of business tomorrow, so that will give us time to figure out how to do the consent forms. We're not thinking it's going to be a huge number. Tiffany has a number of volunteers who would like the opportunity to go through. There are 4 or 5 residents that we've identified who missed it because they were out of town or traveling or unavailable the first series, but this will be a second 2-part series starting this Friday.
Is there an age restriction as of friends and family?
Don't know. It depends. Honestly, it depends on the number. And so this is a CVS, so it's the same folks we've used in the past. They've been pretty lax in terms of letting us, qualify people who are outside of the typical age arrangement. Yet they certainly will allow staff, and they certainly would allow your adult kids, but they may give some pushback on grandkids and certainly no one under the age of 18. And so it's sort of an individual case-by-case, one-on-one review. And that's why we'd ask you to go through Leslie to hear about the circumstances and give you more guidelines. The vaccine is available to any individual in Florida over the age of 18. So it's not like we're breaking any laws because the entire general population is now able to get the vaccine.
Excuse me, Brent, you didn't actually say staff and families, but that's included?
Yes, yeah. And so all of our associates who work here, if they have a spouse that has not had the opportunity to get the vaccine, we are going to invite our spouses in because it makes sense from a business perspective. It doesn't do any good to send someone who's vaccinated home to a spouse who isn't vaccinated. It's safer for you, it's safer for us, and so yes, our spouses are going to be included. This does not apply to anyone in this room, and so that's really good news. But
Which vaccine will it be?
I don't think they've told us. Have you
Kyle
heard?
told me Pfizer.
Pfizer?
That's what
Pfizer.
Kyle said, yes.
Yeah.
Pfizer.
So FEMA introduced a new program this week. If you lost a loved one to COVID during the last year, FEMA is now recognizing that as a reimbursable expense from the federal disaster plan, and they will contribute $9,000 toward any funeral cost or out-of-pocket expense associated with burying a loved one. And so again, luckily this doesn't apply to anyone in this room, but if you have family members or know of close friends who maybe did not make it through COVID, this is a new program that's available, and it's being administered by FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Administration. So we wanted to make that announcement. And then I'm going to turn this over to Tiffany, who's going to come up and give us an activities update.
Brad, a couple of questions.
We're going to come back for questions.
The new construction, do you have a date when it will start?
We're going to come back for construction as soon as we get it.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. Great. I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have Jack Holloway back for the theater group. His first group was on Monday. So as I was reminding you last week that we are rolling back out our normal activities. So we have our theater group back, our line dancing is starting back up. She will be here starting in May, and she'll be at 1 p.m. in the Grand Lobby South. So we're really looking forward to going back to our normalcy, as well as our May trips consist of Cooper Hawk. We're going there on May 4th at 11:30. We are also going to Lucky Lobster on Friday, May 14th, and the casino on May 19th. All of those signups are already available to you on the North and South trip table. So please feel free to sign up, and we just really want to get back out, get back to our normalcy, and start having a good time again. Of course, if you always have suggestions or anything along those lines, you can always call myself or Ginger, or any feedback along those lines. So we're just happy to get back to normal, getting back on our beautiful bus that we have now. Yay! 3 years later. But we're very happy to have that and be taking our trips and having a good time together. Did anyone have any questions? No? Yes, ma'am.
Is Larry gonna be coming back?
Yes, Larry is coming back.
Because I have a whole lot of.
Oh, good. I'll let him know. We actually.
I need watch batteries.
Yes, Larry will be back. We contacted him. For anyone that's new, Larry's Accessories, he takes care of any broken necklaces, watch batteries, things of that nature. We used to have him once a month, but they were laying a little bit low due to COVID. But we have gotten them scheduled for May.
Oh, thank you.
So it's going to be well attended. I'll let him know. He'll be busy. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, and that's all I have for today. We're going to open it up for questions, and our first question came from the back there, and it was, do I have an update on the start date for the construction? So I can tell you where we stand. The civil engineering has been submitted and approved. We are waiting on the rest of the building permit process. Civil engineering, I understand, is always the first step. There is some debate as to when we might expect the permits. Beslow, who is the architect design team, they say because they are familiar with the county and they do so much work here in Pinellas County that they think they will get permits in 30 days. I don't think it's going to be quite that quick. I'm thinking more around the 1st of June. And then they need about a week to start the preparing the site and getting the demolition team ready to go. So I'm hoping to be underway somewhere around mid-June, and I think that's a pretty good estimate.
And then when is completion?
From the first shovel in the ground, it is 6 months from shovel to grand opening. So Christmas would be right in that time frame if we start mid-June. And we got Mike's coming.
Brent, can you tell us when the spa is going to be up and running?
The new spot?
No, the pool house.
The pool house spa, okay. So the jacuzzi is, we believe the jacuzzi is working. Here is what we are not sure of. If you go and jump into the jacuzzi, the water is cool. If you go and turn on the switch and come back in 5 minutes, the jacuzzi is hot. And so there is something that has happened in the switch that is keeping the heater from running at all times. It has to, right now, the circulation pump has to run in order to get the temperature, and so something is clearly wrong. We have the boiler guy coming out. The pool company couldn't do it. They think it's a heater issue, and so we have the boiler company coming out on Wednesday to try to figure out what's going on. It's over our head. So we have tested it, and it will work, but you can't get in right away. You have to let that temperature build up in order to get it to work.
How can we get the jets working?
The what?
The jets,
The jets will work
only
if
the air is working.
the jets will work if you just throw the switch. We got rid of the timer switch, and it's now on just a switch like it was. And so the jets will work, but there's clearly something wrong. And we'll Wednesday, they're going to be here. Hopefully we can get that up and running.
On the same subject, the swimming pool is varying on a daily basis somewhere between 85. Right now it's 95. And I don't know what your goal is or why it's varying so much. 95 is too warm to swim. 86 is too cold for most people.
Okay, so I've heard that. I'll go check it. At 8 o'clock this morning, it was 85 degrees.
No,
And
it's 95 right now.
yeah, so we'll go check it and take a look at that. We do have 2 new thermometers because we kept getting so much variance in temperature. People were reporting high temperatures, so I'll go take a look at it right after this meeting. All right. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Everyone have a great day.
Welcome back, Margaret.